Hey everybody, today I'm going to be doing a review on the Kat Von D Serpentina palette. This palette is perfect for the fall months. Perfect. Also good if you're going for a darker, more gothy look, or you're looking for some interesting shades. Now the packaging on this, before I get into the review, before I get into the swatches, let's talk about the packaging because I love it. I have a tendency to really like Kat Von D's packaging because I think that it's unique and it definitely all plays into the theme. Like nothing is left out in her themes. If you think about her other palette, like the star-studded palette, like literally it's a studded star on it, or her holiday palette, I think last year that looked like a record, she always sticks to a certain theme. This packaging is absolutely no different. From the outside packaging that features the Ankh here to be the T in Serpentina, to the design all across, the title here, the back with the names of all of the shades. So if you're in a quick rush and you don't have time to open it up and you're just grabbing it for your vanity, you have all the shades named here. And then when you open it up, it has magnetic closure. It's kind of like opening up a tomb or a crypt. Really reminded me of like how a coffin would open up, displaying a mummy. Like that's the feeling I got from this. And you have your Ankh inside and a very generous sized mirror that features the little design around it too. So it's not just here's your mirror and that's it. No, very big attention to detail. Now inside we have 8 pressed shadows that are actually inside the palette, and then right here we have a removable pigment. This is the gold pigment. Now I've swatched this all up for you guys and I've created an eye look. The eye look is in a separate tutorial. I will leave a link below if you'd like to see these shadows in action. You see my nice little vampy look I did. But for now, let's get swatching. The first shade is Blood Milk, and this is a medium dark red. It has a matte finish. It's a little bit dry, and I do suggest that you apply it with a fluffy brush. It's very blendable, very smooth. Well, I would suggest using a blender brush for a more diffused look. If you would like full pigmentation of this, feel free to use a primer, though I feel like it really doesn't need it because it is so buildable, and I liked how buttery it was. The next shade is Medusa. Now Medusa is an antique gold shade, and this does have a little bit of shimmer in it, but overall it was a pleasure to work with. If you really want to intensify the metallic sheen in it, apply it wet, but it worked very well with using it dry without primer. The next, with or without primer. The next shade is Ankh, and this shade gave me a little bit of a problem. This is a black shade that has bronze micro shimmer. Now the black underneath is pretty matte, I would say satiny matte, but the problem is that if you want the glitter to show up at all, you're going to need to treat this like a glitter. So my tip to you guys is apply this using a blender brush, get the shade, get the amount of black you want on your lid, and then moisten your brush and put it back into the shadow, and then pat the shadow on where you want the glitter to show up. Otherwise it's gone, it's fallout, it's just not where you want it to be. It's not going to be on your lid and it's not going to be showing up. So unfortunately it's beautiful in the palette, but not so much on the lid. The next shade is Queen, and this is a medium dark burgundy. This has a kind of metallic finish. I would say it's more like a satiny pearl. I liked that this was opaque, and I kind of liked blending this on top of Blood Milk. So if you want to maintain that more burgundy look, apply this over Blood Milk and you'll have that nice red burgundy. The next shade is Hieroglyph, and this was one of my favorites of the palette. Hieroglyph is in orange copper and it has a metallic finish. This one was really fun to work with because if you apply it wet, it's like super hyper metallic. If you apply it dry, it just applies smooth and buttery. It's a great all over the lid shade. Works well with Queen, works well with Blood Milk, works well with Venom. Pretty much every shade in this palette just works well with all of them. Very easy to apply, very complimentary. Nice shade to apply right in the middle. The next shade is Nile, and this is a medium dark blue. I liked that this had more of a satiny pearl finish as well, very similar to Queen. The next shade is Scarab, and it's had a very similar formula to Nile and Queen in that it had that satiny pearlish finish. This was a muted green, kind of reminded me of like a forest green. It was very blendable, very smooth. Then the last shade is Venom, and this is a medium dark purple. It has a matte finish. This was very similar to Blood Milk in that it's pigmented when you apply it, but again, use your fluffy brush if you want to diffuse it. Then the last shade we have is the pigment, and this is Profit. This is a green tinged gold with a metallic finish. Applying this dry, you get an opaque finish. Applying this wet, you get an opaque finish, but when you apply it wet, it becomes like a super metallic. I think it's great to layer over some of the matte shades. I think it's also really great if you want to use it as a liner, since if you wet a liner brush, you can have a nice bright gold liner. I thought this one was really fun. Like, you can get creative with this palette using it. So overall, I thought that this palette was really good. There was only a few problems with the formula. Like I said, some of the shades were a little bit crumbly. Even though they were really smooth and buttery, they were really, really fragile. So if you're going to use these, make sure you're using a lighter touch. Fluffy brush for shades like Venom and Blood Milk is fine, but if you're doing shades like Scarab and Nile and Hieroglyph, you might want to use a more dense brush. You might want to use a wet brush. If you're doing Ankh, treat it like a glitter, because otherwise, just problem city. And Profit was just so much fun. Lots of fun to use. So guys, did you pick up the Serpentina palette from Kat Von D? If you did, let me know what you guys thought in the comment section below. If you didn't pick it up, is this something you'd pick up? I know the shades are just way bold and there was no break from them. Like, some palettes will see like 1 or 2 bold colors, and then half of it will be the more neutral colors that we compare them with, whereas this was just like, no, we have enough neutral stuff. Let's just go full on bold. So you guys, do you like that? Do you not like that? Let me know what you think in the comment section below. And as always, guys, thank you so much for watching. Please be sure to check out my tutorial using these shadows. And as always, please be sure to follow me on Instagram. I'm Recycled Stardust.